Hello, and welcome to the Project Nobody May Cry mod for the Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix emulator. I'm pretty sure this only works for the emulator version. I'll be going through some changes in this game that makes the game very different compared to the original Kingdom Hearts 2, while still sharing some aspects with it. This is the beginning, Roxas fights. If you could guess, Roxas can taunt. Look at that. That's supposed to build up your meter in this game. There's a meter in the menu, or the command menu on the bottom left. Basically, it just means every time you hit an enemy, you do a combo, you do different types of attacks within your combo. It will just get the rankings will go high, your meter will build up, and you'll do. I don't think you'll do more damage, or maybe you will. I feel like you do. There's no way, right? As you can tell, Roxas has very different moves compared to his original game, where he kind of is really sluggish and slow. But Roxas here, he can attack pretty fast, and most of the moves are literally set up from different attacks that Sora can use. The first two, I'm pretty sure, if you notice, the first two attacks Roxas does is the Ars Arcanum build-up attack to when you press triangle, right? Here's Twilight Thorn. When I first downloaded this game, I actually had no idea how to install it. I just saw the files and I just extracted everything and I put it into my PS2 emulator, and it turns out that it did not work. Right here is where I froze. You see when I press reversal right there, basically I was completely just, Roxas was T-posing. He couldn't do anything. In fact, my game version didn't have Roxas doing these crazy moves, or at least these extended moves that are a lot more quicker than his usual ones. Beginning of this game, there's people have a lot of problems with it. Roxas is slow. Roxas is sluggish. She's not as fun as Sora when you swap back to him. But this game lets you play Roxas the whole way through. And it's not just the classic Roxas. As you can see there, Roxas has his classic finisher, the vertical swing. Or not the vertical swing. It's called something in Kingdom Hearts 1. And there's the bat, where he kind of swings it like a bat. I don't know how else to say it. And it's pretty useful. It's insanely quick, actually, and I'm pretty sure that animation stems from the Oogie Boogie fight when you throw up the little presents back up to him. And you'll see what I mean later when we get to his fight. So yeah, this is the struggle fight. Most of this stuff is pretty normal at the beginning. You do the early fights, the Nobodies, Twilight Thorn, Cypher. I'm starting to get used to this as I go through it. This is 100% my gameplay. As you can tell, I'm trying to block, because apparently there's a perfect guard, which I read in the menus, and you can time it right. You can get your drive back up insanely quick, and you'll see later when we get different forms. Yeah, most of these fights haven't really changed much from the original game. Just that, oh wait, yeah, I forgot to mention, we got reversal from Twilight Thorn. It's Roxas's famous attack, or I guess his famous ability. Basically, it just lets you go behind enemies or swiftly dodge attacks. It's pretty useful. I think I use it a lot during this playthrough. As you can tell, I'm trying to connect my attacks, my combos with reversal. As you can tell, reversal keeps your combo gauge up. You hit once, you hit twice, you use reversal, you can still land a finisher, and an extra finisher if you use a reversal after the combo. The game looks pretty normal for now. It's gonna look very the enemy placements will be very different. You'll see later when we get to the end of this, the end of Roxas' segment of the game. So the first fight with Axel, this is Axel 1. He's I mean, he's a pretty tough fight. The beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2 and pretty much every one of those games, the beginning part is super tough. You don't really get all the magic options, and the game is insanely powerful when you learn how to do its combos. As you can tell, my drive would have gone up from that reversal, but we don't get that stuff yet, like I mentioned earlier. So this is the first big change. Here, this used to be a mini game where you had to reach to the end of the hall or reach to the end of the alley, but instead they changed it into a survival-based, I guess, mini game. Basically, they throw you the three struggle opponents, except for Hainer, and I actually failed on this one. This is my first fail of the game. You know, it was like what, 20 minutes in, or was it 15? Anyways, so I was planning to find them. All right, I actually did beat some of them. I think I beat Vivi up, but the problem was, you know, it's just better to use reversal since you can just dodge every attack. And as you can see, I'm kiting them right here. You know, it was a pretty interesting change. It definitely caught me off guard when I played it. So this is the same thing as the original game. You fight Data VVs. They're kind of like, you know, the same thing. Except you get Roxas' new moves. Nothing much has changed. Yeah, that's about it. Funny thing about the static screen that's going up right now, that was a big part of my nostalgia for the game. Kingdom Hearts 2 is my favorite game in the franchise, and it's my favorite game ever made. And the static was very, very important to me because my TV, it was this big Sony, like, huge TV. Well, it wasn't really huge. It was just kind of a little wide and a little thick. It wasn't really too expensive, but when you would turn into a different channel, it would turn into that static thing, or it would turn into static. This is also another one, the change. Right here, you used to ride a dog. You know, kind of weird that I say that, but if you play the game, you know what I mean. They changed it into a little combat arena where you fight against the samurais and nobodies. They're pretty easy fights though, since Roxas is pretty fast if you use reversal a ton. I don't think this fight's changed too much since it's with that assassin right there, yep. So the fight with Axel, the funny thing is that there used to be a fight that you had to do before you fight him. Instead, they actually just skip right to the boss fight. Here, Roxas gets his form with the 2 Keyblades. This is pretty cool, actually. They did this in the original game as well, except, you know, this was the last time you played Roxas, because, spoiler alert, he dies. It's pretty cool. They give you a glimpse of what your, basically your final form is gonna play like. You know, Roxas is insanely fast. Problem is, with this form of Roxas, you can't block or guard, so you're kind of like full offensive with your abilities. We don't see too much of it since we don't have much magic, and magic pretty much dictates how good you are in the combat. You know, you can't really spam X all the time. I'm pretty sure this is still the same. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Sora still goes against these nobodies, or these groups of nobodies. Could you tell this is not scripted? Doing this all in the first take. The combat is very therapeutic in the original Kingdom Hearts 2. It's pretty balanced and it's pretty fun. Well, I wouldn't say balanced, but it's pretty fun. You can do air combos like straight up. You can do that too here. If you just saw what I did an aerial step, and I read during the menu that you can jump on top of enemies, if I was right. Basically, if you hit an enemy, you can do an extra aerial dodge. You know, only once though, and then you hit another enemy, you can do another aerial dodge. That never happened to me though during this playthrough, so I was really confused. Man, pressing the X button, or the circle button in this version, is extremely fun. And right there, that is called, I actually don't know what it's called, but if you guard perfectly and time your attack, like immediately right after, you can just slice through an enemy and you'll get your drive back. And it's pretty useful. Roxas is a lot more aggressive in this game than Sora is in his original game. You can tell he's pretty fast. Early game Sora is very sluggish, and this completely changes up the gameplay. You'll see later when I go against bosses. It's pretty different compared to what original Sora would do. So they put Neo Shadows in this game. This is a late game enemy that shows up later, like in the final area later. These guys are originally from the first game, and they're pretty creepy. They're pretty cool too, and yeah, right there. If you just saw me do an aerial attack, Roxas actually does his first two combos in the aerial state, and he does the same attacks as he does on the ground. Kind of messed me up a little bit because in the original game, you know, you have air combos that are very fluid, and the ground combos are also very fluid, but well, I'll talk about that later because we just got the new form right here. This is bladeless form. This basically replaces master form and wisdom form. It's a very magic based form. God, I said that a bunch of times, but anyways, this pretty much is magic based. Just use every single magic thing you can use on it. Every attack you use, or every attack you do like normally, gives you the your mana back, and that's a big change I like in this mod. It's very magic orientated. As you can see down at the bottom right corner, not me collecting up the mana bubbles, but every time Roxas attacks with his normal abilities, he gets a little bit back of his mana, which is pretty interesting, and it's pretty cool. I missed my reaction right there, or my reaction command. Kind of embarrassing. I'm not the best at this game, but I do love this game a lot. So right there, early game is super tough, like I mentioned. As you can see there, it's pretty crazy. Roxas can do a lot in this form. A lot of long-range attacks, which helps out a lot later, and is pretty much your crutch. Your crutch until you get your extra other forms when they come in a little handy. Otherwise, bladeless is insanely strong and very powerful to use in the early game. As you can tell right here, where I'm beating these guys' asses. So here are the missions in Mulan's world. These are kind of fun. At this point in the game, you only have 2 magic spells, and this game gave us all 3 elemental attacks. And There's also a magic ability that's missing from this game. It's called Magnet, and just like it's called, you grab enemies in a magnet. It's being replaced by Reverso, which, you know, if Magnet was in this game, it would probably be broken, since you can probably do a bunch of crazy ass combos with Roxas here, since he has a bunch of different attacks. As you see, the thunder, it works a little differently. Its animation that it uses is called upper slash. It's exactly what it looks like, but the lightning attack is buffered. And going deep into the magic, fire is really interesting. So, fire in the original game, base Sora, he's kind of janky with magic. He's pretty still, you know. The forms really give him a lot of momentum and fluidity. Is that even a word? Anyways, it just makes it more smooth when you use magic, since you can move around kind of, and it lets you just like go fast, and it's very mobile. Roxas gets to use magic in the same way that Wisdom Form and Final Form do. I'm pretty sure his fire and air is the same as Master Form, where he kind of just zooms right into the place. Bladeless Form is extremely powerful with magic, as you can see there. You can zone out enemies extremely well. And even here, you can even do some crazy combos. So Thunder in this form, I'm pretty sure it knocks enemies upward. And Blizzard, you know, you shoot Blizzard and you shoot extra beams, but you jump back a little, right? Or in the air you do. And Fire is more like a dive-in attack, as you'll see what I do. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I was just learning in this game, and it was just interesting. Right there, I just knocked the little shadow up. They also replaced the little magician guys with the Neo Shadows, which, you know, is a very difficult thing to go against. Also, every magic has a finisher combo on the ground, and a different combo in the air. You see, Thunder has more of a like a slam, Fire's like an uppercut, and Blizzard's you throw your Keyblade at them. I totally forgot about the air combos. So, magic works very differently in the air for base Roxas. I'll just go over the basics, or I'll just go over the ones that we have right now. And Blizzard, you basically just throw your Keyblade, same thing as the ground combo. Fire, it's like, I think I already described it, but Thunder's different. Thunder, you dive downwards when you use it in the air. And I think it's like supposed to be like a ground, or it's supposed to be like an air cancel, where you just go straight into the ground and keep up your combo. I use it a lot in different bosses later, but you'll see. This little cave right here is, you know, it was a big pain in the original, mainly because I just saw it fly. Mainly because it's pretty tough, and you don't really, if you didn't go to Beast Castle to get Cure. Oh man, I will talk about Cure later in this game, but it is super awesome. But this part of the game is pretty tough. They changed it, however, without the 1,000,000 shadows that show up in this room. And shadows are the little guys, little dark creatures. And replace it with Neo Shadows, which I think is a little fitting, because you know, the only tough part of this area was definitely the big horse guys. This section has not changed at all from the original game. It's still the same, you know, fight all these speedy guys. I forget their names, but yeah, there's really nothing much explained here. As you can tell, I'm using my magic at the fullest here, and Wisdom Form, or not Wisdom Form, Bladeless Form, is, as you can see, magic it uses on the bottom right is very little. I think it's a very low cost, But it's very interesting how they do that, because you can gain magic extremely fast in that form, or MP extremely fast in that form, and still, you know, use magic incredibly well. It's just at the cost of draining your form gauge a bunch. You can see all the prices are the same, and if you don't know, the prices of mana is extremely different and varied for the part of the different games. What am I saying? It's very different compared to each other's mana. Like Fire, I'm pretty sure costs pretty little. Blizzard costs a little more than Fire. It's like 12 mana instead of 10. They changed Reflect. That's another magic ability I'll talk about later, but that got a nerf, and it's honestly for the better, since we have a better Reflect anyways, with, you know, the perfect guards in Reverso. So this is the first actual boss of the game, Shan Yu, at least for me in this playthrough. It's pretty interesting. He kind of gets destroyed here. As fun as this mod is, I think Roxas is a little bit overtuned in this game. And even on, you know, I'm playing on critical mode, you know, Roxas takes more damage, but you also deal a little bit more damage. And Roxas does a huge amount of damage. I might even try a level 1 playthrough next time I go through this mod again. But if you know what you're doing with your magic, you can completely destroy bosses, and you'll see later when I do so. It's pretty crazy. This one's kind of funny. So in Beast Castle, you fight off a bunch of little shadows in this small confined room. And if I remember correctly, I think I messed up here. Oh no, I don't mess up here because I'm a god at this game. I'm joking, of course. This is the other first boss you could do. This guy, I forgot what he's called, but he's a pretty fun fight, and a pretty terrible fight at the same time, too. The original Kingdom Hearts 2, if you play this mode, if you play critical mode, which is the most difficult mode in the game, and just go against this dude, like, first thing, he's the worst to go against. But for Roxas, he's very mobile, so he doesn't get hit easily, and since Sora doesn't have any mobility options to use in the beginning of the game, he's kind of like a sitting duck for most of the early game. With Roxas, you can just kind of jump in whenever you want, and they give you basically a free dodge row in this game, and you know, a lot of mobility, which is, you know, it's fun and it's good. It's just that it makes it a little easy when you go against these weaker bosses that, you know, are supposed to be in the earlier game. Oh, the Keyblade I'm using. Most of the Keyblades, or almost every single Keyblade that is in this game, replaces the original Kingdom Hearts 2 Keyblades with the Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days Keyblades. Some of them have really cool designs, and it's pretty cool. And it's fully 3D, I believe. Right here, I think I'm using the one that I got from Mulan's World, Land of Dragons, I think it's what it's called. They changed this one up. Usually there are boxes here, but they changed it as little, I guess, enemies show up at certain destinations. The original version of this one kind of sucked, as in you had to do everything pretty fast, but in a way where, like, you can make it for, or I guess you can make the little guys come back up, you know, the little candleman and the teapot lady. Yeah, the beginning of this playthrough is a little bit trash, since I haven't really gotten accustomed to the game right there. Oh, instead of fighting Beast, you fight Nova Shadows. I don't know if these were in Days or if they were in a different Kingdom Hearts game, but these guys are pretty tough enemies. They're the same thing as the Neo Shadows, but they are like, they got like an unstoppable attack. It's like a little shockwave. I'm sure you saw it earlier. Anyways, so yeah, they're pretty tough fights, but they're not really tough when you just use a bunch of magic. So what they did was that they skipped I think his name is called I forgot what his name was, but you go straight to Darkthorn, which is the phase 2 of the original boss, and he's like this ball-shaped creature that has chains on him. As you can see, I'm using my magic here. You know, it's very useful, and Roxas has a lot of good finishers in his magic, and they go well extremely with his attacks since they go really fast, especially with the normal basic attacks. This fight is pretty much the same as the original game. Nothing really new besides Roxas just completely decimating his ass. Or, I guess, me. I'm trying to block his attacks, but I get kind of beat up here. And, I probably should have just killed him early just to end the fight quick, but I gotta hit first. So here I go for the style points. You know, you can kill bosses with reaction commands, at least some of them. It's pretty cool. This one is probably one of the coolest versions of reaction command kills. We're back to Hollow Bastion. This is for Winnie the Pooh's world when you first encounter him. They didn't change much in this fight. You know, it's just fun to go through Roxas' his combat. It's fairly fun and very engaging. Probably more engaging than Sora's combat, but you know, you can't really compare the two since they're very different. This is the Hades, I guess, fight when you escape the underworld. It's in normal critical mode and even level 1. Well, always level 1, but in critical mode, this is probably hell. I swear, I spent like at least an hour beating this on my first playthrough when I first played Final Mix on the original PS3 remastered versions. Roxas completely destroys them because, you know, we can use forms underground and, you know, very fast, very mobile. I think I'll show you later, but Cure is very different in this game. Cure is an attacking ability, which is kind of crazy because in the original game you just heal and, you know, you just get health back, but you get health back in this game if you hit an enemy with your healing ability. See right there? I made a little prism attack, and basically the damage converts into healing, and Roxas gets healed for the amount of damage that he deals, or the amount of times he hits it. So Cerberus, this guy is pretty annoying to deal with since you have to pretty much fight him in the air the whole time. You know, pretty annoying boss, but it's not too bad. You just gotta get your range on him and kind of attack when he's not attacking. Make sure you do his reaction command when you get the chance. Bladeless completely destroys this this boss since its air combos are pretty fantastic, and I don't know if I use them later, but right there, Bladeless can just kind of do whatever the hell it wants. Very strong move. It's a very strong form. It still is very useful. All forms are useful in this game, which is something I cannot say about the original Kingdom Hearts 2 forms, where Valor form is very useless since you can't even use magic in that one. They give Roxas a bunch of different abilities, as you can see. I use them sometimes. I use them all the time. And it's pretty interesting. They reuse a lot of animations, as I said from before, but it's pretty cool. And you know, the first fight with Demix is well, it's more of a mini game than it is. Right there, you saw me. I canceled my finishers with an extra finisher, and you can do that with all the finishers in this game. You can cancel your finisher with another combo finisher, and it's like it could be like the second it comes out, or you know, you just let it lie there for a little bit and then start another finisher, or just let the finisher go and just, you know, do your whole combo. Fire is a godsend in this game. It's probably my most used ability in this game besides Blizzard, and you'll see later, but fire is very useful, unlike in Kingdom Hearts 2 where you kind of had to use fire in very situational places, and it was just only useful if you had different forms instead of base Sora, where, you know, longer range attacks are way better instead of close range abilities. I don't know why I said that. I meant closer magic is bad, except for reflect. So you see heal, all the heal forms, or all the heals have different forms of attacks. And Roxas gets like a little spinning attack. You know, whatever hits the surroundings gets healed. His Prism one gets also, you know, more heals. And he has a limit form, which we'll talk about later when we get to that point. But that's a little farther into the game. Roxas completely destroys these fights. I believe this was a minute, and it's pretty crazy. A lot of these fights are very quick, and you know, you can make them quick in Kingdom Hearts 2 as well. You just gotta play really, really well. But for here, I'm just kind of like spamming magic and you know, doing whatever. So this is actually my second try on this boss, and it's not for the reason that you think it is. Maybe I have died, or you know, just maybe I just like, well, whatever. Basically, I had a crash in the middle of this game, and it was pretty bad because I just beat the boss. I didn't even save, and I had to do this whole fight again. Not to say it's bad, but this fight is pretty boring if you don't have Trinity Force, which is an ability that only Sora has. Roxas, though, it's a little tough since you know, he's by himself, and the only range attacks we have is Blizzard, since it's a Keyblade ability where you can just throw it up into the air. Bladeless form is amazing here. I think that having Bladeless in this game, or in this boss, is so much better. You'll see here that I continue my combo up here. If you notice, I'm not hitting any enemies with my air combos in the original game. That you couldn't actually continue your combo unless you hit an enemy. But they give you an ability called Combo Master, which comes with the final mix release. Straight off the bat in this mod to let you just do all your combos without even needing to hit an enemy and using your finishers at the end. So you don't actually have to, you know, hit everything, you know what I mean? Right here, I don't think anything changes. It's just the standard mini game. You have to get it to the end of the gate. It's you know, it's pretty okay. There's a trick that speedrunners do. You'll see me do it right here, actually. So basically, what you want to do is to push Minnie to the edge of this this wall right here, as close as possible. And you want to run into her, but also keep her on the edge of the wall as well, so you can continue pushing her around. Because if you didn't notice, she's pretty slow if you just let her walk. I don't know what the term is, but you know, this is very useful since, you know, she's very slow, and in a very fast-paced game like Kingdom Hearts 2, it's kind of a bad no-no, you know. So here, the hall to Mickey's chamber. I guess it's not his chamber. It's more like his throne room. It's very different. The original has a lot of white and blue. In this mod, it's very brown and black. I don't know why, but it looks pretty alright. I'm not too mad about the change or anything, because I mean, it's just a visual change, and you only go to this place once. Yeah, pretty standard, bringing Minnie to the throne. You know, it's an okay mini game. It's just a little boring since Minnie doesn't fully follow you through, and you have to kind of wait for her to get your reaction command up. But at least it's not very long. It's only just a minute or two. So the first fight with Pete, or Pete question mark, he's very easy to go against. As you can tell, yeah, this isn't a boss. This is a joke boss. And a little spin. This game is not fully, well, it is done, but it's not like fully finished. You know what I mean? People are still working hard on this game, and you know, I'm looking forward to the next updates and the next releases of this build. This is usually the toughest, or not the toughest. It's one of the toughest parts of critical mode in Kingdom Hearts 2. Basically, you have your elemental attacks, and you just kind of have to deal with these hordes of enemies, and it gets pretty tough later on. But for Roxas here, this is insanely powerful, since he can just kind of do whatever. Right there, that little spin attack I did was the reversal version for a bladeless form, and it's, yeah, you spin around, and I don't know what you're supposed to do with it. I never used it after this, so I guess that explains nothing. Yeah, a lot of mobility to just completely destroy these enemies. It's pretty crazy. I forgot to mention that you're supposed to stop these enemies from destroying the town, but you know, it's just a horde, so as long as you deal with them pretty quickly, it shouldn't be too much of a trouble. This one, I hated this one in the original game, but it's different now. Instead, you gotta fight Neo Shadows, and basically you have to defend this house. It's got fire coming straight to it, and the annoying part is that it's these cars. That car right there, it's one of the most annoying enemies to go against, since it has a DM phase, and a DM is basically called a desperate move, or I think that's what it's called. I'm not too familiar with too much of the terms of this game, but basically it's a retaliation move, and if you get them to a certain health threshold, they do this unskippable attack where they drive straight to you. And the only way you can damage them is you know, you get out of the way and hit them, or you counter their attack. As you can see here, I'm getting pieced up by them. This saving Mickey's house is there's really nothing much to say besides, you know, extra Neo Shadows and you know, more combat. It's pretty cool. Don't worry, it'll take like 30 seconds. If you notice, we are not very long, or we are not that far into the game. And the funny part about this this section is that Pete has 1 HP. Basically, they skipped this whole mini boss fight, and they gave the cornerstone 1 HP. So you don't have to do the whole spin the boat like twice to destroy the game. Just go straight into the next fight. The next fight is Pete 2, which is the final Pete. It's the last time we ever fight him, ever. And it's a fun fight for what it is, but it's got a bunch of different phases. So that spin attack move I did earlier, the one where Roxas spins around and has a huge little blast around him, that's actually used with a different command in the game. So sometimes when you attack enemies, you press square during a combo to do a different attack. And right there I was invisible, but you press square to do a different attack. But in this game, what happens is that Roxas can use different abilities, and this mod lets you use different finishers and different attacks if you use the R2 button. And the R2 button is the triggers on the controllers, and if you use it on if you hold that button and press the attack button, which is circle in this mod, you can do a different attack that's not the classic finisher if you just spam X, right, or circle. And it's crazy because you can do different combos, you can lead up different bosses, and I'm pretty sure the original one. Oh, right here actually. So they made Travers Town real in this game, which I think is very, very interesting. They even have custom dialogue here, as Yuffie mentions Roxas, which never happens in the game. This is very odd since I just recently beat the first Kingdom Hearts game, and well, I didn't recently beat it like in that way. It's like my 10th time beating that game. But looking at it, it's a very small world. I mean, right here, I forgot to mention, but in Travers Town, you can fight with allies, and it's basically fighting little hordes of enemies with, you know, allies, NPCs that you get in the game. And they show up in Hollow Bastion later on the second visit. God damn, I can't speak. But it's pretty cool, and I think it's a pretty cool change. You can even go to Merlin's house in the first game, or I guess in this world, and you can even collect some chests, and that's pretty cool. Leon's not the only one that you can, or Squall. Squall isn't the only one that you can help out. During different parts of, I guess, the amount of time you spend in this world, or the different missions you do, you'll have different party members that show up here. Like, you'll fight with Cloud, and you'll fight with Tifa as well, which is very cool. And it puts a lot of life into this world, even if it's very small and a very short world in the end. Travers Town is it'll show up later, but Travers Town, we'll go back here a bunch of different times, and it's because of these missions. And these missions is basically Roxas, you fight a bunch of different enemies, and it's like a bunch of different waves, and it's a big challenge, right? And you have to just beat them all, and that's about it. And I think it doesn't need to be any deeper than that, besides it being pretty fun, and it's very enjoyable. It lets me test you test out your skills. Basically, you know, if you just spam the attack button all the time, you're probably not gonna get very far in this game. The magic, though, oh my goodness, you just combine it with your attacks. It's so good. and they even give you bonuses with the little meter buttons down there. See that? Stylish, sweet, awesome, showtime, stuff like that. Basically, you do more damage on your finisher, I think, and you get more money. And money is a big problem because in the original game, you had no money, and in this game, you have too much money. And I never showed it, but my bank account in this game was huge. I could basically afford anything I want, you know, any item, which is mostly only ethers, because ethers are very important in this game, since mana and magic is, you know, insanely useful. You can get healing off of it. You can get you know, extra damage and extremely fast and heavy combos. It's very important, and it's very very easy since Roxas can just basically swing through all these guys. Winnie the Pooh is actually pretty freaky, as you can tell, we're not Roxas, and the weirdest part is that there's no music, so it's this very ambient and horrific game. It's just very eerie. So here, the Pirates of the Caribbean world, it's fairly interesting because you know, it's the only world where magic kind of affects the gameplay, and you can freeze and shock these guys. The funny part is here, you can see there's a kill cam, right? That's always been around in the game. The kill cam also affects this one thing. It's pretty funny, you know, since we've seen Roxas in the kill cam for a while. I'm pretty sure a bunch of shadows show up here, or soldiers, the little guys in little hats, and you know, these enemy placements are enjoyable since, you know, they're not like one-shottable, and you know, they're fairly mobile enemies to go against, and it's fun. Right there, I think it was a little bug, but it's nothing to worry about. One thing I forgot to mention about this game is that sometimes the audio will be a little janky. As in, what I mean by the audio, I mean by the music. The music is based off of this extra program. Basically, it plays around in the game. It plays all the music that you're listening to right now. The music is actually different because I think it's an arrangement, and it's supposed to replace the music because you know, there's a new world, right? You can't just have Atlantica music with Travers Town, because, you know, Travers Town replaces the Little Mermaid's world. So it's a different program that plays the music that should be played, and it's really nothing much to it besides you can adjust the music volume. As you can tell, maybe the game has gone a little bit quieter on the music side because I might have adjusted it. It's, you know, it's not noticeable, but you'll see what I mean by the music is a little janky sometimes. That just comes with the program, and it's fairly interesting since it's all in an emulator, so it's very impressive. at this mission when you play in the original game. I remember my level 1 playthrough where basically you do no damage and you take a huge bunch of damage. Like, you only take 2 hits and you die. It took me forever to do this one because how horrible it is, and the fact that you get hit all the time, and it's just insanely unfun. But at the same time, it is pretty fun since magic kind of destroys this world. I don't use it much right now since my magic bar is completely gone. I've been saying the same words. I'm like a seagull. Can't even think. This one's fairly funny. I do the thing that you do in all Kingdom Hearts runs. Basically, hit them all. I try to be a little stylish by using reflect. You know, trying to make sure that they don't hit it, but in the end, it just didn't work out. And, well, it's whatever. The Barbossa fight. This fight is actually kind of fun. Mainly, it's more fun because you don't have Jack with you. And if you don't know, in this fight, Jack, he disappears and he reappears in your party, and he's like defenseless. He has nothing. And Barbossa, if he kills Jack, he straight up, you just lose the fight. So without having him here, it's pretty nice. But you can also stun lock Barbossa with magic, especially Blizzard spam. Basically, if he's frozen, he can't attack, and you can just juggle him. I do a sick ass combo here. Very stylish. This game has a lot of style, which I really like. It's awesome. There's nothing more I can say. Oh, this one was really funny. Check it out. Yep, right there. I just got juggled by those guys. Pretty funny. You're supposed to die in that situation because it's supposed to be faster than if you just fight. But you know, that was unintentional. Don't tell anyone about that. I think one of Roxas' attacks, it's another reuse animation, and honestly I don't mind the reused animations, and the new animations too from Roxas' other games. You'll see later, but there's oh wow, I got that puzzle piece, but you see later Roxas does a move that's not from this game, and he's kind of sporadic with his attacks. He's like moving left and right, and it's actually from his DS game that he stars in. Which, you know, it's a good callback since I really like that game. You know, Days. So this is the first big Days enemy. This guy appears in the original DS game, and these guys are big pricks in those ones because they are incredibly hard to go against. And you see them when Roxas is fairly low level and they kind of whip your ass. It's pretty bad, but in this game, you know, if you know what you're doing, you can whip their ass. Obviously, I almost died, and it doesn't matter because I got him. Oh, these two, Fire Lord and Blizzard Lord. I don't think that's their name, but they are a very fun fight. I love fighting these guys. Every time I replay Kingdom Hearts 2, I always love fighting these dudes. I mean, I love fighting almost every boss in this game, except for a couple, which is, you know, I'm glad they don't show up. And Jafar, he's a boss in this game. And it is so bad. Like, it's extremely bad. But this fight's fun. It's a balance between fighting two dudes and using their weakness against them. You know, Blizzard, Fire, and it's even more fun when you use Bladeless. a lot of bladeless attacks in the air comes from final form from Sora. It's pretty cool, but no, it's very powerful, and it kind of has this huge imbalance in base form Roxas power. But base form Roxas gets extremely overpowered later. It's probably better than the other two, better than most of the forms if you know what you're doing. But so this is Twilight Town 2. You know, it's nothing much. You only fight this one wave of enemies, and the world is basically done. But yeah, you get Limit Form, which is Roxas, like, it's his look in when you fight him in the actual game, and it's pretty cool. You know, it's a dream come true since I can use his abilities instead of playing the DLC in Kingdom Hearts 3, where it's kind of where, you know, you only play him once and it's just that one time. It's very cool, and in this game you kind of live that form a little bit later when you see me use it. Hey, Roxas Berserk, it's the thing that he uses for the little hammers right there. They are very different than Sora. Sora knocks him up into the air. Roxas just immediately goes for a finisher, and when he, you know, spins around. The prism attack is very cool. I'm very surprised how creative they got with the bladeless form attacks. So this is a little weird. Riku was there. If you saw him for a brief second, he I think maybe it was a little taunt, and you get to fight these two. The fire dude isn't that bad. The ice guy is insanely, or I guess I should stop saying insane, but the ice dude is pretty tough. He has this one attack where he kind of runs away and throws a bunch of icicles at you, and it's pretty annoying since you can't even block it, and if you get hit by it, you know, it's kind of a game over for you. So that kind of sucks. I almost died here. It's a pretty tough fight, I'm not gonna lie. This is definitely a run killer if you don't know how to use your magic well. And your perfect guards. Remember, perfect guards are essential in this game. You know, you gotta really build up your forms to get your health back, and, you know, basically get an extra combos within the combo that you use in base form Roxas. So we're in Halloween Town. Pretty cool, honestly. These little guys, I hate these jack-in-the-box looking dudes. These music box like soldiers, they're the worst. They are absolutely horrible when you play original Kingdom Hearts 2. You know, you're just getting used to the combat. These guys show up, and every time they pop up, they just completely strike you. I think you're supposed to use Reflect when you go against those guys, but you know, Reflect really isn't that good in this mod, since, you know, you have better offensive options, and being more offensive is way better than being defensive in this game, since you don't have a reliable guard that kind of can get you, you know, not killed all the time. You'll see later when I miss my guards, or when my guards just, you know, it's not just a good time to attack after you guard, you know. For Sora, he's very balanced. Roxas is always in their face, so very different play styles that are super fun to play. Ice Dude, you know, we already beat him before. He's really not that bad. And here's the new form, by the way. It's pretty cool, honestly. You get to use moves that Roxas uses against you, and when you fight him in this game, like as Sora, and you even have his combo moveset where he does a little twirl attack when he spins around. This move is super cool. I think it's called Magic Hour, and it is awesome. So in Kingdom Hearts 2, he summons like little light balls. In this one, he summons a bunch of beams to kill them. It's pretty sick. This fight, I forgot what his name is. His name is Iron Prisoner or whatever. He's an amazing boss. I think this is one of my favorite bosses in this game. It's an incredibly fun boss to go against. A lot of back and forth, which I like in this game. But you know, it's very fun. You can exploit him. You can use combos, and even bad forms are even used in here. Of course, I'm talking about original Kingdom Hearts 2. In this game, you can beat its ass pretty quickly, and you can completely decimate its health to its threshold, where it changes to Phase 2. Phase 2 is not really that different, besides you can use all the different form attacks, and if you didn't know, it's changing colors and different attacks with each kit it swallows up. So why I'm pausing right there, it's called pause buffering. And pause buffering is when you is basically you pause the game, right? And when you're pause buffering, after you change into a form or during your changing of form, it's supposed to load in quicker, because if you just let the form change, time will move by just a little bit. And by pause buffering, you're making it instant, like in-game time, instead of during game time. Roxas, he does so much damage right here. It's insane. I'm surprised by the fact that I can do this. I think he's definitely a little too powerful. But that's just balance changes, so that's whatever. Yeah, you see the save slots. I forgot to mention them earlier, but the save slots are part of the music thing, the music program I was talking about earlier, where it's like a separate window where it basically changes all the music up, and it gives you save files or autosaves in case a crash happens, which is very nice to have, because I had a lot of crashes in this game. It's not fully finished, so very nice of them. Oogie Boogie is a very annoying fight. The original game, you have to do this 3 times to kill him, but luckily in this mod they removed the health threshold for him going to his different phases. You can just straight up kill him on his first phase, which is nice, because this fight is pretty boring to go through. I guess I wouldn't say boring, it's just very tedious. Pride Lands. This is the Lion King world. It's this world is it's very different. I think this is the only mandatory fight that's changed, and it's pretty funny because it's really nothing much. You kind of just walk in this world. You'll see what I mean when we go to the next scripted fight. So when we fight the hyenas, this is the classic, right? I mean, the hyenas. Who doesn't remember fighting the hyenas as lions, Sora, right? But you're just base Roxas. And when you're base Roxas, you can kind of kick their ass right here, doing a bunch of combos. Because I think it's after a finisher or two, they retaliate, and you can kind of hit them all. You'll see right here, I hit them all with the Limit Break. Boom. And Limit Break is just cure or heal, but, full attack. Now, if you see here, I actually finished the combo by hitting 2 of those little hyenas, and it's cool. Here's the ultimate fight against Scar, and he's dead, just like that. He's very if you fight him without base Lion Sora, he's so annoying to play against. It's horrible, but I'm kind of glad they kind of skipped that. So on to what is this place called? I forgot the name, but the place, it's Tron's world, right? So right here, I'm trying to do a little bit of leveling. You know, since I didn't really do too much grinding besides you know, just going and killing the enemies as I go by. And this room is really good for grinding some levels. And that's what I've been trying to do, but you know, I just try to get as much as I could do. And that question mark up there, you probably have seen it a little bit earlier. That replaces Donald in this game, but you can see Donald and Goofy don't exist in this game because they're not Roxas' friends. So what happens is that they give this question mark guy, and he's supposed to be replacement Donald and replacement Goofy. And what if I just made that all up? I didn't, but it's probably it has something to do with the programmer or something, because you know, there's got to be a reason why there's you know, mysterious party member. I forgot about this move. This move is the it's the ability, whatever. It's like the ability that Virgil has in DMC5, the one where he splits the screen. I forgot what this guy's name is, but he's the thing that you can pause time with, and it's pretty cool. You know, as base Sora, it's a very tough fight since this dude is always running around. With Roxas though, since you can catch up with him pretty quickly, you know, he makes mincemeat out of him. I tried catching up with him, but it didn't really work. So yeah, I just entered his health threshold right here. Because it stops when I keep attacking, right? So all I gotta do is make sure I get the orbs, stop time, and kill this dude. He gets stuck right there. It's kind of funny, but yeah, just a little bit before I kill him. So here's the mandatory fights. I mean, this video only has mandatory fights, but this room, it's a little tough. So the dancers, they first show up. They're the little pink nobodies, the one that kind of like I guess slide around. They are very fierce enemies in the original Kingdom Hearts 2 game. See that grab right there? That's basically a one-hit, one-kill on the original game. Even on critical, or even on FM too. It's incredibly tough, and it's horrible. And especially on the level 1 playthrough, they suck. But I mean, here obviously it's not that bad since Roxas can kind of run away. But they changed the dancer's attack actually. They used to just have it instantly just snap onto you and kill you. But in this one they have like a little wind-up attack before they do it. If you didn't notice, there's a screen shatter, or it shakes the screen, which doesn't happen in the actual game. It's custom made, I believe, so pretty cool. They just grabbed me right there. They can do a thing where they permanently grab you, like they can just knock one dancer right into the other dancer, and you just straight up die. I didn't have second chance or once more yet, and those abilities basically give you a second chance to survive any combos from any enemies, just as long as you're not, 1 HP. But it'll drop you down to 1 HP if that happens. Luckily, my Roxas is a little bit leveled up from earlier, and it doesn't take too much damage, but you know, enough to get two-shotted. So yeah, I'm slowly growing accustomed to the game. I'm pretty sure this is the halfway point of the game. Right here, fighting Demics. So this is the first big boss of the game. This is the big one, and the organization fights are probably the best fights in the game. It's incredibly fun to go against these dudes. They have revenge values, which is basically if you hit them too much, they'll retaliate, and they have DMs, which are desperate moves when they reach a certain point of their health when they do a special attack. And I think I explained desperate moves earlier in Disney Castle. So this is a very quick fight. I'm surprised how quick this was. It was only a minute long, you know. It's kind of crazy. My Roxas is, I don't get it. He does so much damage. It's insane. I don't know why, but you know, it's a little much sometimes. You know what I mean? Of course, I like having fun, but you know, I like having fun with a challenge. And since this is the hardest mode, I didn't really feel too much of a challenge since I first tried a lot of these fights. If you didn't know, those knights right there earlier, the ones that I just killed in the first wave, they're not actually that big. They're a lot smaller. I didn't notice it until I watched the playthrough again. And yeah, that's it's very funny because they were like Sora's height, Roxas' height, so they're very, very tiny. So the ally NPCs, they show up here. It's pretty nice. You can combo with them as well. I tried doing it with using Magic Hour, you know, the one where you shoot light beams from the sky. Sometimes they do the work, and sometimes they don't help out because light beams just brings them up right to me. This game is incredibly fun. I recommend anyone to try this game out if you enjoyed Kingdom Hearts 2 or even played Kingdom Hearts 2, just to feel the difference. So yeah, it's super good. I can't state that enough. It's a very tough wave of enemies here, but it's, you know, it's fun. It's very fun to go against since it brought me a little bit of a challenge, and I love challenging games, especially in Kingdom Hearts 2, where the game can be extremely challenging. You know, hardest difficulty or level 1, but yeah, it's just really fun to juggle the enemies, just like in DMC. And speaking of Devil May Cry, I've only played the original game, Devil May Cry 1, and it was pretty good, and I'm pretty sure that's, obviously, this is the inspiration of this mod. But it's pretty cool. And Cloud here, he usually destroys these enemies, you know, all by himself, if you play as Sora, since he literally one-shots them all. But here, he's kind of, he helps out, but it's usually all of us that kind of do all the work. It's okay. He just stole my kill, look at that. So there used to be a 1000 Heartless fight here. You know, it's very, I mean, I guess I wouldn't say it's infamous, but it's a highly remembered sequence in this game. Instead, you get to fight Riku, which I think is kind of cool. So that's kind of interesting. Riku has no stagger animation, so it's not really a fun fight. And if you don't know what a stagger animation is, it's like if you hit an enemy, they get knocked back a little, and that's basically a stagger. And I love staggering enemies because it's fun, and even bosses too. Because your guy gets staggered, Roxas and Sora get staggered, but some enemies like Riku don't get staggered at all, and it's very unfun to fight against that because you know, it's like Dark Souls 2. You're hitting enemies that should probably been you know, knocked over a little. So here, more Twilight Town. They open up more missions or more waves for you to fight, and you know, it's a very fun challenge since you know, the base game is pretty easy so far. If you couldn't tell, since I could kind of just budge through every fight ever. But Twilight Town missions are pretty tough, pretty long. I think I think it's this one or the other one I died on, but it's interesting. I mean, like I said earlier, it's a very nice challenge to go to Twilight Town and fight against waves of enemies, since you know, the game, you know, it would be like the tournament, Coliseum, Olympus Coliseum, where they would give you the mini tournaments and stuff. But here it's just a lot more fun since well, it's Travers Town, and that's not something you see in Kingdom Hearts 2 mods. I just think this this ability is so cool. The one where you just have a million cuts, and it's Virgil's whatever ability he does in that game. Very cool. Very cool. Extra missions, I believe. I think... No. I think this might be the last mission. Or I might be thinking of something else. But it's very fun. And they give you a lot of enemies to go through. These guys, I don't hate these guys as much as the gun soldiers in the Jack in the Box, but you know, they're still pretty bad and annoying, since they don't really stagger unless you do a finisher. I'm pretty sure those cars, they're very different. So the cars, they are they're ripped straight from a different area in the game where enemies are a lot tougher, and it's a tough fight. And you know, it's a place called Cave of Remembrance. Basically, you can access the post-game fights in there, post-game boss fights and wave fights or horde fights. And, it's pretty fun and insane because, oh my god, if you play that, if you play Cave of Remembrance on level 1 playthrough, it's the worst feeling ever. Here's the boss here with Mickey. Very, very scary opponent here. You know, he's an interesting boss. And we're done with Mickey, so let's go straight to the next one. This group of enemies, this one got me. I wasn't really like, I had no idea how much of a challenge this was. And these cars are the worst. These things got me killed so bad. I'm just lucky I was able to kill them right after they DM'd. So very, very nice, very nice. And that isn't the only one. There's you know, more cars. They're tougher than the ice dude. I killed the car behind me, which is why I ran back and hit nothing, even though, you know, I killed it. I had no idea. Juggling cars. Goddamn cars. So yeah, those guys aren't really that bad, since Roxas does 1,000,000 damage. This horde of enemies hasn't really changed. This is still the same as the original game. So we fight the first, I guess, organization member that's from the Absent Silhouettes, and basically it means the Absent Silhouettes are bosses that were in the previous game that were just killed, and they don't show up in this game. So they have extra bonus fights with them that you can do. They're optional, of course, but they're fun. And, well, I guess I wouldn't say some of them are fun. Zexion is very annoying to fight against. This is Zexion, by the way. He's got books. He's got the whole trap you in a different world. You can't use your abilities when you have a book on you, and it's very annoying. But you know, you can juggle him here. Actually, I had no idea, but when I found that out a little bit here, you can tell it's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure you can juggle him to death, but I'm not that skilled in this game, so I didn't let that happen. I might try it one day. I might try it soon. One day. That book showed a picture of Sora, but that's just part of the game. It's not actually part of the mod. That's just how it is. I get knocked out because I'm too fast, but that's kind of funny. I end them in a stylish way, or as stylish as I could with limits, but I'm pretty cool. Beast Castle 1, not Beast Castle 1, Beast Castle 2. This is a fairly short world. I mean, we're revisiting worlds, if you didn't notice, from heading back to Mulan's world. And revisited worlds are pretty short, and we're over halfway the actual game. So this is when enemies kind of get tougher, and you just kind of have to deal with it. So kind of cool. I always liked second visits in this game, but I definitely see why some people don't like them, since it's kind of like it's kind of like doing the same thing again, you know? The next fight is one where you fight before Zaldin, which is the next organization member we fight. And if you can tell, Roxas looks just like an organization member. Can't speak. He looks just like an organization member, but that's because he is one, and or I guess he was, since he's a betrayer. He's a traitor. But you know, in this version, we're killing a bunch of the organization members because revenge. Well, it doesn't actually have a story. You just play the same game, but it's, you know, you can make one up, probably. Zaldin's fight is extremely fun if you know what you're doing. You know, if you know how to block and get all the jumps at the right time. But since reaction boost doesn't really do a huge bunch of damage like it normally does in the original Kingdom Hearts game, you can't really murder this dude like stage 1. So, you know, it's this fight drags on a little bit, but you know, it's still a really good fight. A lot of back and forth. Also, is there any Zaldin fans? A lot of the organization members have big fans. You know, they have big personalities. Zaldin's just kind of an obsessed, like, crazy guy. You know what I mean? Obsessed by him being in this world. If you play the game. I tried to jump back onto him. I watched the Yachi Nanase video where he kind of just went crazy on Zaldin. Yachi Nanase is this famous, I guess he's not really that famous, but he's an incredible Kingdom Hearts 2 player where he can just do the craziest combos, and it's just incredibly amazing to watch. I mean, you really have to check out his channel. It's probably the best Kingdom Hearts 2 combo videos ever. or has the best combo ending. Sorry. I was just testing stuff out, and Reverso worked on dodging the wind attack right there, or his DM. You know, his DM is when the world turns black and kind of mess him up, but you know, it's whatever. His DM is very annoying since it's pretty long, and you know, you kind of want to get straight into the fight after the DM. I tried to do this really cool thing, but I don't think it worked. Oh, never mind, it did. You know, you should check that out. That move is it's always super cool. Here's Olympus Coliseum 2. You know, basically it's a short little wave to wave horde fight. You know, pretty standard. But it's pretty cool, and these guys, I don't remember if they look like this, because Final Mix has different colors for the enemies, and sometimes they change the way they look with different patterns, like the soldiers and the fat bodies, they're the big dudes. They have different colors by being blue and black and red. In this version they're brown, and it's pretty ugly, I'm not gonna lie. But, it's pretty cool to see what, you know, color redesigns they have. I don't know why Hercules is just flexing over there, he's kind of doing nothing. I messed up my guard, but that's because I wasn't really prepared, and I just saw him chuck it at me, and basically, that's how it goes. Half the time I don't even know if I'm speaking any English, but you know, it's whatever. Nova Shadows are pretty fun to fight against, even if they're a little bit tanky. But you know, it's fine because they're very fun enemies to fight. And, you know, honestly, it's probably better that they're tankier than some of the other enemies. I almost got close to dying here, but luckily Bladeless has the really good limit break form where he can just kind of heal from far away. The new enemy placements are pretty fun. You know, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's awesome. You know, fighting these big dudes, heartless that have more than 1 bar of health. It's pretty good. I'm pretty sure this is in the actual game too. There's nothing really much besides just killing a bunch of nobodies here. I got fed up with using the other cool ability, so I used Magic Hour to snipe him like this. Surprisingly, horde fights last longer than actual boss fights. If you've been looking at it, This fight almost took me about, I think, a minute and a half, or maybe a minute. Yeah, definitely a minute. And most bosses are done within a minute, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. The fight with Hades is usually spent in the underworld, but they ported the map for Kingdom Hearts 1 to fight him, and it's kind of neat. Obviously, Roxas does a huge amount of damage, and it's not even fair at this point if you look at it. Hades gets completely bullied here. I feel bad for the guy since Roxas is very powerful. I mean, check this out, dude. He just can't breathe. Look at him. I don't know if this is this game or not, but Ethers completely restore the. I guess I gotta stop saying completely. I've said that way too many times. But Ethers restore MP bar big. Good. God, I sound so dumb. I'm just extremely giddy looking back at this game because it's my favorite game, and to see someone mod this game in a very well-made manner is just really good. It's like seeing a really good Skyrim mod that's not the typical Skyrim mods that you expect to see, like Autism Cat. If you haven't seen Autism Cat, it's a pretty funny series about a cat that has autism. Pirates of the Caribbean 2 is it's not very long either. I think there's only like a couple mandatory fights. Actually, no, there's a few. There's this one, and you fight the mini boss, and then you fight the mandatory nobodies, and then you fight the actual boss. So you only have 4 mandatory fights here. Can you believe that? A lot of these visits are pretty short. I forgot what this Grim Reaper's guy's name is, but you know, this fight is pretty much a joke. He's just like the pirates. You can stun him, but I think that's very cool at the same time too. But since Roxas has a lot of keyblading abilities, they can just kind of skip over his animations and bring him to the threshold where he just teleports away. Oh, this is a sick ass combo. Look at that. Oh my god, I don't think I got hit in that last combo. This is very different. Usually there's only one gambler, and the gambler is the little nobodies that have the funny heads and cards, and they spin around. Unlike the other nobodies, where they're kind of like creepy humanoid figures. Usually there's only one, but there's a bunch of nobodies here, and it doesn't really change anything besides just more nobodies to kill and extra levels or extra XP. So the fight here is Marluxia. You don't know, you don't have a health bar in this mode, or in this fight. Your health bar is your level, and I'm level 38 at this point. And, you know, I can take 38 hits before I die, and the only way to restore it back is if he does a certain move. But I don't do that until way later because Roxas does way too much. And if you can tell, Roxas has an aerial recovery where he jumps backwards. And aerial recovery is basically when you get hit or knocked back, and you can escape it by jumping up from it. And, you know, it's very useful in some fights. Roxas is very different because Sora has a very defensive one where he can fight back. Roxas doesn't have that kind of stuff. He either just goes backwards or goes straight into the ground. Marluxia is a pretty fun fight. A lot of back and forth between the guy, and it's you know, he's a extremely fun fight, especially with Sora. But with Roxas, it's a little too easy. You can kind of break him out of his combo with your own combo, which is something that doesn't really happen in the original Final Mix version of the game. His DM is pretty scary if you don't know what you're doing, but I knew what I was doing. I just completely forgot how to dodge it because it's very different. Because you're supposed to I think you're supposed to go in a circle, but I was dashing around in weird places. As you saw there, I restored my levels, but it's over now. No. I think that's the longest fight yet in a boss so far. So I actually hate Agrabah 2. Agrabah 2 is the worst world in the game. It's basically you have to get on this little carpet, the magic carpet from Aladdin, and you fly, and it's just the combat is just horrendous. I hate doing this world. This is the world I dread the most. But they got rid of the carpet, and now you're on the ground, which changes the game a little bit. And you only have to do a couple fights, and you don't even have to do the dumbass mission where you to go hit magic like pillars. You know what I mean? No, you don't. I mean, yeah, you do. But yeah, it's extremely boring, and nobody likes that part of the game. It also has one of the worst bosses in the game, which is Jafar Genie, or Genie Jafar. He's fought with the carpet, and it takes like forever to kill him, and it's just so boring. What's cool about this one is that you're on the ground, like I said earlier, but you know, it's more combat, and more combat in this game is awesome, since this game isn't very long if you just put mandatory fights only. Like Kingdom Hearts 2, if you don't skip the cutscenes, it's like 20-ish hours, so it's not as long as you think it is, but it's a fairly straightforward game. Now Lexius is this is a fight, and it's pretty crazy. Sora's a pretty good fight against this dude, since he has a lot of defensive options. You know, he can guard really well. His guard can last longer than like a split second. Roxas is a little more different, since his guard is only for, you know, his guard is basically a parry, and it's a lot of running around, since he has a lot of abilities that grab you. Right there, I just did the dodge, and it's awesome. It's very good. And I dodged his big one. This fight actually took me a couple of tries, since I wasn't really used to the grab. Since with Sora, you can just kind of reflect the attack and just not get hit at all. Roxas, you know, very different. I like that change. The fact that his playstyle is very different. You have to just change the way you fight, you know, bosses normally. It's just super fun. Yeah, it's just super fun. One of my favorite bosses in this game, just to you know, learn to play differently. You know, I don't know, it's just really cool, since I've beaten Kingdom Hearts 2 probably more times than I have ever blinked. This one is pretty funny. So you have to kill the kids, but the kids are getting juggled by Roxas. And it's over. It's over. The kids are done. Fuck them kids. I'll mess up this box here. Don't mind this. It's a little reorganizing. This part of the game is I mean, it's pretty good. It's just, you know, it drops like 2 presents, or it drops 4 presents, and you can beat this area really quickly, but it's a forced fight, and you have to kill all the enemies, which, you know, it's better than what it was before, but definitely a little bit longer, but I don't really mind since it's more combat, more gameplay. So the final fight for this world is Larxene, the final. Well, it's not the final member yet, but she's a fun fight in this game, and she's a pretty hectic one. The actual final mixed version, since well, Sora has a lot of defensive options, and if you don't have Reflect, it's basically over for you in this mode, or against Larxene. Since we can kind of cancel her out of some of her knockback abilities, it's pretty easy, and I almost die here actually. Pretty funny, but I'm trying to hit her clone, you know, the 2 of them, but I'm just not getting the right chance, so I only hit her once. That would have killed right there, but it's whatever. Check this out. This is the Pride Lands. Boom. 1 shot. Another 1 shot. And the final 1 shot. I said the final 1 shot. So this is the final fight at Pride Lands. It's a pretty long fight as Lion Sora. So we're just gonna beat it up like that. So this is the final Travers Town missions. It's a pretty nice farewell. You're fighting some of the toughest enemies in the game. Like, these book guys aren't affected by magic at all, so it's only Keyblade attacks that you can use. Luckily, I mean, I first tried most of these fights, except for the ones that I mentioned, and yeah, it's a little much when Roxas can basically wipe out a whole horde by himself. But I mean, maybe I'm just that good at this game, so what can I say? Most of the limit forms, or I guess most of Light and Darkness form for Roxas, has a lot of abilities from his other games, like the dual shot ability, which is the one where I dash and shoot a little ball. That's actually from Kingdom Hearts 3 when you play as him. And then this one right here is an ability he uses against you in this game. And I think that's basically it. Yeah, in this form at least. So we're going to final Space Paranoid. I think that's what it's called. I was thinking about the name this whole time, but I mean, this is a very short playthrough. Or, I guess this is a very short world since second visits are extremely short. And this one is just as short as I mentioned before, which, you know, it's nice. It's like a run back through all the games, or it's like a run back through all the worlds, and, you know, it's to show how far you've come, basically. Except for here where I'm almost gonna die, but I make it out, because I always do. This one is, well, this one is a nightmare in the original Final Mix game, but it's not as bad here since Roxas has a lot of range and mobility. Unlike Sora. How many times have I mentioned that now? Must have been like 5, 6 times. These computer enemies are extremely annoying. They don't really stagger that much unless you hit a finisher on them. Even then, when you are in the air, they still attack pretty quickly. Right here, as you can tell. So you have to use a form to get out of that. I missed my dual shot, but it's okay, because I just get ganged up on like this. This fight is even more of a nightmare. I was dreading this part of the game when I was thinking about my previous playthroughs. I don't know if you played the level 1 playthrough of Kingdom Hearts 2, but it's extremely tough. And this part right here is the worst. I don't think they changed too much of the enemies, but it is a nightmare. So you have to make sure that wait button. You see that up there, the little meter? If there's too many Heartless on here, they just completely, it just fills up like quickly, fast, and it's so rough. I've lost. I almost gave up at this point on my level 1 playthrough, and I mean I gave up on that playthrough back then, and then I came back to it a few years ago when I actually beat it for the first time. And yeah. Any problems here though is none, because Roxas just doesn't give a shit. He just completely kills these guys. Easy peasy. Here we fight Data Roxas. It's the fight you're supposed to go against if you play as Sora, but since we are Roxas, we get to fight I guess a computer version of Roxas. This is the final fight in the you know, Space Paranoid. The original fight you're supposed to go against is the MCP. He's the funny guy with the funny face, and he's a very boring fight. Roxas is one of the best fights in the game, though. However, in this game, he might be my favorite. I don't know. It's kind of tough to decide since there are a lot of fun bosses that you can go against as normal Roxas. But he's definitely one of my favorite fights in the original Final Mix version. Or well, he is my favorite fight in the story mode fights, or story only fights. I almost got cornered here, but luckily I just completely destroy it. I said completely again, I swear. I'm just not very good with words. I can articulate myself well, just not on the first go. Here we go against not Zemnis, against Vexen. He's the final absent silhouette. He's not the final organization member we're gonna fight though, but he's a pretty tough guy. I died to him. No, I didn't. I just looked back at the footage. I didn't even die to him. But this fight is crazy because you can. He has a weakness to fire. right? Because he's using blizzard attacks. You know, fire beats ice, and it's kind of funny because I was looking at the damage I was doing, and you know, it's obviously a lot of damage. But the moment I start using fire combos, he's just destroyed. It's not even fair if you go against him. You see what I mean when I use fire attacks on the next chance I use on him. So this is the final fight with in Twilight Town. It's a little anticlimactic, but the story, you fight here with Axo later, and it's pretty cool. And story-wise, it's awesome because it's the last time Roxas and Axo ever, you know, hang out. See here, he shows up for story purposes. I mean, he's the one who created this little portal, I believe. So, there's that. If you notice, the command menu, it's actually gray. If you remember, they always have different looks in the other worlds. And even in the Dive to the Heart, which is the beginning of the game, by the way, it's like blue, and it's very stylized in the original game's art. For the command menu, but it's gray here. Maybe it's to represent dusk. Maybe it's better if I talk about that in a different Kingdom Hearts video. I'll maybe make one day. So here we get the new form that Roxas can use. It's called Awakened form. It's actually the form we used in the beginning of the game against Axo, his final fight over there. And it's pretty cool. Roxas can use all his magic. He has no guard though, so he can't even block. But his magic is insanely powerful. It's broken. Like, it's very good. And the finishes are even better. A fire finisher is kind of bad, but I mean, it's fun, and it's fun bad. So I don't really think there's any complaints about it. Besides, you know, Roxas does 1,000,000 damage with any attack he does. But it's pretty cool. You mixing this up like this, and it's just awesome to see. It really is a dream come true for me. Now this fight is very familiar, or at least fighting these hordes of enemies is very familiar if you've seen Days. And Days is super crazy. The final parts of the game is usually what people remember since it's the final part of the game, but you kind of do the same thing as here, except in DS game. I can believe that. It has really good writing though, trust me, but it's cool, and to see all this come to life is awesome. They also don't die in one shot like in the DS version, which is kind of funny. So you're probably wondering why I showed you the that cinematic video. It's actually the first secret opening, not opening. It's the very first secret ending of the first Kingdom Hearts game, and it's a teaser for Kingdom Hearts 2, where Roxas he basically betrays the organization, and you know, he does whatever, and he's also Sora at the same time. Well, anyways, the whole point is that it's cool, all right, and you get to relive this, and that is awesome. I love the fact they did this, and they even brought back the same music from that video. It's just, oh my god, it's such an awesome thing, and you know, it makes me giddy because I really love this game, and I really love Roxas because he's such a well-made character. You know, you can tell he has a very brash personality from his voice, and you know, the way he fights. You know, he's very aggressive, so you'd assume that he is pretty aggressive, but he's actually a very kind, very thoughtful person. He's just very hurt and, you know, by himself all the time. He's also a very tragic character, which makes it even more sad when he kind of just has to be forced, or he's basically forced to kill himself. If you didn't know, he has to die so that the main character can basically save the world, and he doesn't want to die because he wants to live his own life. And you know, honestly, who doesn't, right? He deserves to have his own life, and he would never get a happy ending because you know, he was always meant to be Sora's nobody. But you know, recently he did get a happy ending, so you know, pretty nice, but it felt a little cheap. Kingdom Hearts 3 is a little cheap in its story. Now they concluded Roxas' story, but what can you do, right? But you'll always be a tragic, awesome anti-hero. The first organization member in this world we go against is Xigbar. This fight is actually very, very fun. I actually like this fight. It's a lot of air combos. Gonna have to do. You kind of have to juggle between him and the warp snipe that he does. I didn't find this out, but I was playing on my own, going against the data organizations, and the data organization is, you know, the hardest fights in the game basically, and it's post game, so they have like 1,000,000 health and stuff. But anyways, I went against him. You can actually block all of his bullets straight at him instead of just one bullet. I had no idea until you just spam square. And, you know, it works. Xigbar is a really fun fight. I mean, I already did a huge amount of damage. You know, it's a little crazy, but you know, it's whatever. I'm pretty sure you heard me complain enough about the damage overtune, but I literally went straight to his DM in like less than a minute, or in less than 40 seconds, which is kind of nuts. Luckily, Xigbar's DM is pretty easy, except for when I got hit there. But you can actually just run in a circle and he just won't hit you. These warp snipes are evil. In Kingdom Hearts, or in Final Mix, if you play the hardest mode and you don't have once more second chance, you're basically boned. As in, you get one-shotted here. Luckily, I'm a little bit leveled up from the previous fights, and you know, I can just basically dodge all attacks.
You clever little sneak.
I always have a tough time with this guy. It's the card game. So he plays a card game with you. Well, it's not really a card game. You have to time your inputs, right? You'll see it later, but it's X and circle. You have to hit a circle in the command menu that's on the bottom left. And if you miss, you turn into a card or a little die. And it's it's pretty punishing if you miss. I'm pretty bad at timing things, so that is pretty bad. And I've had a pretty tough time fighting this dude. It wasn't that bad since you can skip his DM phase, which will show up a little bit later. Something I like about Awaken's magic form is that his magic, if you use Firaga up in the air, he actually, it's not he, Roxas, he goes up into the air, and if you use Thundaga, you go down, straight down, and it's pretty nice. Pretty handy when doing combos, because you have to mix between the two. This DM is pretty bad. Like, it's pretty easy to dodge, and it's really not very engaging. This DM though, this one, oh my god, I've had nightmares about this one. That was a misinput right there. They even have a custom dice. It's black and it has Roxas' face on it compared to the dice, if you saw it on the camera. Syax is it's a pretty cool fight. What's really cool is that you can attack him in his berserk form. This isn't true in the Final Mix game, or in the Final Mix version in the original. Basically, you just have to wait out until he threw out one of his whatever his hammerheads are, and you have to hit it against him. But you actually punch him in the face here, and it'll lower down his berserk where he'll be more vulnerable. And I think that's a very good change. It changes a pretty good fight into an even better fight. It's pretty awesome. If you don't know the heal for Awakened form, Roxas gets 4 extra Keyblades. It just makes him do extra damage and different combos with his attacks, and it's pretty cool. That was sick, honestly. That was swag. I can't believe I said that unironically. This is Zem. It's not Zemnis, because it's just his first form. It's pretty fun. But he's definitely probably the easiest organization member to fight. At least this phase is really easy. It's pretty cool though. It's just a shame that it's very exploitable, if you know what I mean. If you've seen other people beat this guy. Yeah, juggling with Zemnis is pretty fun. You can even do that as base Sora in the main game. Yeah, what I did here was pretty cool, except for when I went to the air. That was not cool. And when I got hit by that.
It wasn't a fallacy.
Oh, this is the core. This fight already. This horde of enemies. It's the last one, and it's pretty. I mean, it's pretty tough if you're level 1. That is, but I'm not. So I can basically tank all the hits I want. But this is very cool. It's like a farewell to all horde battles, especially when it brings in all the previous nobodies that you fought during your journey here. I think it's very cool. Also, I almost died there, because if you saw it, there's a thing that's coming down from the edge of the map, and it even says in the information tab on the top left from earlier. I always forget about that. I always gotta remember, even though I've beaten this game like a million times. But it's probably. I think I get hit by it again. Yep, right there. And again. We fight Xemnas. This is Xemnas armored form. Armored Xemnas. I forgot what he's called in Birth by Sleep, but you can fight this dude in that other Kingdom Hearts game where he's called No Heart. No heart, heartless. Never mind. That doesn't work. Nobody. A shell has no heart. What am I saying? Anyways, this boss is easy, and it's super exploitable because you can just run away. But I just ran straight up to him. Alright, this is the actual last horde fight. This didn't really take too long. But the sorcerers, these guys, they're the ones with the cubes, and they are the worst enemies in the game by far. And it's not like it's bad. It's not like it's bad, It's just they're unfair. These guys, they have like you're fighting 2 bosses basically, or you're fighting 2 nobodies. You're fighting the little prisms, and you're fighting the guy who's controlling it. It's like the bell chimers in Bloodborne, except not as good because you can just run away from the guys and go kill it. Oh, but this was pretty fun though. I'm not gonna lie. We're almost at the end of the game right now. Okay, so this is actual armored Xemnas. This is the fight that ends everything. Well, I mean, this armored Xemnas is very funny because it has different stages. If you've seen the final fight, Kingdom Hearts 2, you know what I mean. How can you do this with just Roxas only, right? Well, I'll show you how you do it with Roxas only. You need Riku to open the door. So, what's better than having Riku, right? Like Roxas magically teleporting right over there. I'm pretty sure he has 2 phases. Yep, right here. Except this one has lasers, and lasers always messed me up when I first played this game. I must have been like a wee baby when I first played this game, and the lasers. I always got so pissed at the lasers, but that was baby me playing. I'm a big man now, so I'm way better now. Not as good as taking no hits. I think that'd be a fun challenge. Just one that would drive me crazy.
Anger and hate are
So we're at the final boss of the game. Xemnas, for real this time. is nobody coded coat. Pretty cool. Reversal is very awkward in this game. It might be due to the 60 FPS patch on this emulator. And the same thing also happened on the PS3 and I think PS4 version. Maybe not the PS4 version, but basically reversal in the beginning when Xemnas knocks you up just doesn't work, and you just straight up die. And it was very tough for level 1. It was very tough for level 1 playthroughs to even beat. So very disappointing. If it's not that, and I'm just bad, then, you know, I guess it's on me. But I was really pissed when that didn't work. And right there, I just knocked down his health. So as you see there, Xemnas is just standing there because he actually doesn't attack you if he reaches his first bar of health, like a little bit downwards, where you just go into his DM, which he does the million light bulb attacks. But yeah, that's the end of the game. Pretty cool. Yeah, you know, in the end, the mod is awesome, and it's free, and it's literally living a dream that I've had my whole life. So pretty cool. And like I said, very good mod. Play this game, and you know, I'm looking forward to the next builds because this game was incredible, and it's a dream come true. I just wanted to make this video because I love this game, and Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts 1 are my favorite games ever made, and you know, it's awesome because seeing this beat Roxas, my favorite character of all time. Well, maybe not my favorite character of all time, but my favorite character in the series. Being playable is really cool, and you know, this is my comfort game, Kingdom Hearts 2. It's in 1. It's very nice. The cutscenes are awesome. The characters are great, and it's not just, you know, underneath it, it's not just some cringy Disney Final Fantasy game. It's so much more than that, and there's so much love put into every aspect of the game. I'm sure you heard the music, but the music is amazing. It's beautiful. It's hauntingly beautiful. It's, you know, Yoko Shinomura is a masterpiece composer, and yeah, I'm just glad that I got to play this and got to make a video about it because, you know, it's my favorite game. It's my childhood game. I played it back when I was 4 years old. You know, that was when I was 4. Birth by Sleep came out, and you know, I was always binging Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 all the time because it was like the only game I played my whole life until I entered my teens. So yeah, it's nice. I hope to make more videos like this, and thank you for watching because it really means a lot when you make it this far. This is the only time you get a thank you for watching from me, alright? This is the only outro you get for now. Yeah, thank you. Bye. Thanks for listening to me ramble.